Adding employees to Engage is really easy. There are two ways to do it. You can add details manually or via upload from an Excel file. In this video, we show you how to add a new starter manually. You need administrator level access to do this. To begin, click on Administration. The Employees page opens. At the top of your employee list, you see a button that says New Employee. Some fields are mandatory. You must provide a first name, last name, and employee ID. I'm going to add Lois Lane to my employee list. The employee ID has to be a unique number or letter combination. Usually this would be the payroll number. A date of birth helps identify the employee when they report a new absence, so I'm going to add this as well. Next, you'll want to assign a line manager. The first manager will receive notifications when the employee goes absent or if a holiday request needs to be approved. The line manager will also be responsible for completing most absence management tasks, like return to work interviews and review meetings with the employee. We recommend also adding a second manager who can fill in when the primary line manager is away on holiday or busy with other tasks. The first and second manager usually receive the same notifications, depending on your company preferences. If you know what an absence day for this employee costs, enter it here. If you leave this field blank, your company's average cost value will be used instead. Job titles and employment terms are advanced features that can be used to produce more detailed absence reporting and trigger settings. If your company subscribes to holiday features, you can set the annual leave entitlement here. Now let's choose the department where the employee works. It's best to assign each person to their specific department for easier absence reporting later on. So, for example, I don't want to assign Lois Lane to my company here at the top of the tree because she works in HR. I'll select HR here below instead. If you can't see the department you need in the list, you might need to ask your system administrator to update your access level. There's also a separate tutorial on how to add more departments. Add a start date. This can be in the past or in the future. FTE stands for full-time equivalent. Some companies use this value to define pro rata trigger points or other settings. For full-time employees, enter FTE1. For part-time employees, enter the fraction of the full-time hours they work. For example, 3 days per week would be FTE 0.6. This field is optional. Finally, I need to choose if Lois needs a login for Engage. If you use the self-service holiday request tool, then choose yes. Otherwise, you should say no, unless the employee is a manager. For employees who have no managerial or on-call responsibilities, this is all the information we need, and you can click Create Employee to save the record. As it happens, Lois is my new HR manager and needs a login, so I choose yes. As you can see, some more input fields now appear on the page. To create a login for Lois, I need to add her an email address. This should be a work email if possible. Below the address, I can choose to automatically send an activation email to Lois when I save this form. I'm going to say yes to that because it saves me doing it later. The activation email has a link that is valid for 3 days. If you don't think that the user will have a chance to complete the activation in the next 3 days, then it's best to come back and send the activation link to them later on. Next, I can enter a work mobile, which will enable SMS alerts if they are part of your company settings. If you're not sure if the manager wants SMS alerts, we recommend leaving this blank. The manager can enter a mobile number later on in their own personal preferences. Now we come to the important part where you need to consider data protection rules. This sets out what data access this user has, so read the descriptions carefully before choosing. The first question is, do I want to enable absence data access? If I only want this employee to be able to submit holiday requests, then I would choose no, and the form would be complete. Because Lois is an HR manager, she will need to access absence data, so I select yes. Now that I've enabled the access, I need to choose what type of permissions I want Lois Lane to have. She will have direct reports, so I'm selecting yes, she is a line manager. She needs to access absence and holiday records for other employees as well, who are not her direct reports, so I choose yes for departmental manager. I'm going to set this access to cover all departments, because she is in a small company. You can also limit this to specific parts of the organisation here in the tree. I need Lois to be able to add new starters and view leavers records, so I'm going to choose Yes for Administrator as well. This gives her access to the Administration tab in the main navigation. The last option, Coordinator, is not needed because I've given Lois full access to all parts of the system. If I wanted to limit her access so she can receive alerts but can't view records online, then I could use the Coordinator permission and set the other permissions to No. Click Create Employee to save the record. If you want to check your new employee, just search for them by name and it'll appear on the left. If you prefer to upload a whole bunch of employees from a list, you can do that too. Watch our Data Uploads tutorial for detailed directions on bulk uploads. Thanks for watching.